Welcome to FPB's Meet the Candidates. This Cable 10 series allows you, the viewer, to hear directly from our candidates their views on issues that are important to us. This is leading up to our primary election on June 23rd. Things are a little different this year as we are social distancing. So we are conducting our interviews from different locations, something we've never done before on Meet the Candidates. So we took questions from our community via email and social media. So we have a lot to talk about, so let's jump right in. Today's guest is Leesa Unger, and she is a candidate for Frankfort City Commission. Hey, Leesa, thanks for taking the time to schedule an interview with us.
Hey, I'm happy to be here.
First thing I want to do is just have you tell us a little bit about yourself and what inspired you to run for City Commission.
Sure. The biggest thing is I love my city and I want to see it flourish. So I currently work full-time for the Kentucky Department of Education, but outside of that, the majority of my time is spent trying to lift up my community by making positive impacts in people's daily lives. So I stay active as the president of the Frankfort Striders Club. I'm also treasurer of the Walk Bike Frankfort organization. So I believe that, having safe public spaces to go participate in physical activities like walking, hiking, running, biking, it can really have a huge impact on a person in their community. So that's why I wanted to be involved in Walk Bike Frankfort's master plan to help make Frankfort a safer place for pedestrians, and also why I lead weekly running groups with the Frankfort Striders, offer training programs, and we do host races, but currently we don't do really any of that right now because of our current situation. So after years of following everything going on with the city and sort of seeing stagnant leadership, I decided that our city would really benefit from our city commissioners having certain qualities. The more I thought about it, the more I realized I have a lot of those qualities. So, good listener, we need someone that's compassionate, patient, works well with others, reasonable, and me being a lifelong resident of Frankfort, I think that having those connections with my community would really help me in the position of city commissioner. I think our city deserves better, and definitely I think being a mother of two, I'm raising two young children. I have a 2.5-year-old and a 1-year-old as of last Thursday. I really want to make sure they know I did the best I can to make Frankfort the best city. So
that's cool.
Do that.
So what do you see as the biggest issue facing the city commission right now, and how do you propose to address that if elected?
I think something that's been an issue for years is just engaging the community. I know the city's definitely working on that. I was very impressed to see all of the engagement with the work on the downtown master plan, all the meetings that they hosted, as well as with the Tiger Grant, the Second Street corridor process. And even making sure, during COVID-19 that they had that presentation online. People were able to watch, the newest changes to that, and also comment online. So things are changing, and that is getting better, but it's definitely very important and needs to stay at the forefront of what the city's doing.
Okay. Well, you mentioned COVID, and so that's a thing right now.
It is.
We're in an extraordinary time, things that are happening. And so that is leading to Frankfort kind of facing an economic crisis because of, along with every other city, really. Right. So if elected, what ideas do you have to deal with that crisis?
It is going to be really tough to pull out of this because we were sitting at a place where we thought we had extra funds to sort of throw around the city. So we we sort of, we may have to look at all the projects that we were planning on doing and reassess. And, will we be able to get, changes to Capitol View Park and, new lights for the soccer fields, all of that, it's all going to have to change. We're going to have to make sure we're being very wise about these decisions and where we pull back in the budget and maybe give more. Do we need to help our local businesses stay afloat? We want to make sure we don't lose some of these great businesses that we have, and people that have taken a chance on Frankfort, to be successful. So, it's going to be interesting to see, where the city is going to have to give and take on the budget. So,
yeah. Well, and just this ongoing crisis, as we discussed, it's really the time to pull together people.
Yes.
So do you think it's time to revisit the issue of a city-county government merger?
I think I would be open to that discussion. I know a lot of people in Frankfort wouldn't be as open to that. So I would want to really take in a lot of citizen comments, like I said, engage the community in that discussion and see how we could come together. I think it's totally possible. And I do also appreciate how the city and county have worked together recently. So it's definitely could be on the table.
Okay. Well, currently, right now, we have the city manager form of government. So under that form of government, what do you see as the role of the city commissioner?
The city commission is there to basically set ordinances and policies, and the city manager and city staff is going to come to us to have us vote on topics. And so these decisions that the commission votes on, they really can help or hinder the city for years to come. So it is a very important job.
It is. A question we had submitted was, what steps can Frankfort take to engage in healthy emergency planning, whether it's for a natural disaster, illness, or climate catastrophes?
That's a good question. We need to be prepared for anything. So, it's just, we need to sit down between the commission and the city staff and talk about, what could happen in our future. We weren't really planning for COVID-19. And definitely we're lucky to have the leadership we have right now at the state and, city level. So I think it would just be, what could possibly come up in the future? Who are all the key players that we need to bring in to help for that planning, and just start a discussion.
That's right. And that's where communication is key.
Mm-hmm.
So, how do you think the city can improve communications with the people, whether it's making it easier to report a pothole or publishing vital public health information or anything in between?
I think that communication is definitely getting better. Information's in the state journal. You can find information on the website. One thing that I really think could be better is how everything's on the website. So much what we're realizing now is, like my job, for instance, I can do so much from home. And so it's just having what you need on the website, whether it's, forms that the community can go to a link, fill it out, submit it all online. It's the ease of, not having to drive down to City Hall and necessarily do it in person. And just also having, guidelines and procedures all listed out. So everything is transparent and it's all, the same for every community member that comes in. So, a lot of it could start with just having a procedure and having everything online, easy to access. So,
okay, great. Well, we have a big project right now downtown going on with parcels B and C.
We
And
sure
so,
do.
so with that, Frankfort has a unique opportunity to facilitate an economic stimulus that is needed now more than ever. However, there's also the question whether the developer can find a viable way forward post-COVID, because there's going to be changes in the way we do things for a while. So what should city government do, if anything, to reduce the developer's risk in an effort to make the project successful?
And this is something I've been very worried about from the beginning of COVID-19, because from my front porch, I can see the parcels. So it's important to all of us that is successful, that we get more people living downtown, so we have more taxes coming in. What can we do to help? That's something that I personally probably don't know a whole lot about. I'm going to be totally honest. I don't have all the answers. So I would have to sort of fall on the city. We have a lot of great city staff. They probably have good ideas about how we can go forward, and communicating with them and working with maybe even the county as well. And one thing I've also been a little worried about is the idea of the YMCA, being shut down and used during the process of building everything, and then sort of having a period where people in town don't have the YMCA to use until they build the new one. So it's very important, and we want it to succeed. So I think that's something we really have to work with, and see how the city staff can help. And
Well, no, it's great. I mean, really, it is a question that everybody's going to be asking, and because of the times that we're living in, we don't know much, so it's what we need to do to move forward. Another project, though, that's happening downtown is the 2nd Street corridor, and the Tiger grant that we got a couple years ago, and in 2016 we received $8 million in the federal grant to reconstruct 2nd Street area. And there's been a lot of work done, a lot of plans made. So I was just wondering how you, as a candidate for City Commission, feel about the planned improvements, and what do you like and what do you dislike? And
so far, everything I've seen, I love. I think it is a sort of a life enhancing project. The way that we make sure, kids are getting to school safer. If they live in South Frankfort or downtown, they can, walk and bike to school much easier. Also, I've really appreciated the way that the group has worked with the city to enhance the plan. So, they worked with 2nd Street School to, find out what the key important things are, and what they'd like to see in the 2nd Street corridor. So, we've got great streetscape ideas, very unique planners and benches, and so far everything I've seen looks really great, and I'm excited and hope we can move forward with it through this very strange time we're in. But also be really, I personally can't wait to see the Capitol Avenue Bridge be more accessible through this process. So I think overall it's a really great win-win project for the city.
Okay, great. Well, as we've seen with recent events, obviously, buying local is crucial to keeping our local economy healthy, keeping our businesses viable. So how would you work with the Chamber of Commerce to support local businesses and services provided by local nonprofits even?
I think the Chamber, everything that's going on right now, they're doing a great job providing information to small business owners and to the city. And I think that would just need to be enhanced. I keep going back to communication, and that's very important. So we need people to know, what's open right now, what we need to do to help keep these businesses going. Yeah, and any resources they might need, or if the city can facilitate in any way, and maybe we have funds that we could use to, help with some of that. So,
well, are there any changes in like city policies that you would support to make Frankfort more business friendly? We've seen that some complain that, we're not able to grow because we're not business friendly, and we don't get businesses that would come otherwise if we didn't have this. Or whatever.
Yeah, that is something that I hear all the time. I helped manage a store, Cool Comfort Shoes, here in town. So I know the difficulties of being and running a small business, even though I wasn't the owner. And it is difficult. But I'm going to go back to what I said about processes and everything needing to be, clear. Procedures need to be the same for everyone. And information just needs to be readily available to anyone that, wants to open a business in Frankfort, and anything that can help them be successful. It needs to be totally transparent. And yeah, I mean, we want our businesses to succeed. So I don't know, whatever we can do to try to help them out. We need to listen to our business owners and take it seriously.
Okay. In the last city commission election, candidates commented on the stagnant population growth in Franklin County, and that Frankfort needs a positive change to spur growth.
Yeah.
So do you feel like the current city commission has made a positive impact in moving Frankfort in the right direction? And what would you have done differently?
I do think that everyone that is currently a city commissioner is doing it because they love Frankfort. And they do want to see Frankfort continue to thrive, and maybe some of them are a little scared of growth. I think that as a city commissioner, I would want to really get to the core of, how can we attract people to Frankfort? What is it that people want? I want more people my age with young kids wanting to move here.
Well, that was my next question is,
yeah,
what does Frankfort do to attract more young people to the community?
Yeah. I love living downtown. I don't forget about everything outside of downtown, but our downtown is our core. It's the essence of what we are. I enjoy, being able to walk to the farmer's market. Right now, it's very different than it normally is, but I'm still able to do that. I think we need to really think about how our parks do attract people from other counties. And enhance our parks. I think that the east side of Frankfort in particular, we eventually need a pool over there. We see where the Jennifer Hills Park is the pool's at capacity every day of the summer. Now, who knows, that may not be an option this summer, but a big thing for me is seeing the parks grow and expand, and working on them, making them better, connecting the trail systems in town. And
you're leading me into my next question.
Yeah.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate the value of the walk, bike, run ability in town?
It might just depend on the area of town you're talking about. And that is part of, why I love being in Walk Bike Frankfort, because this master plan that's been created and we're working on it. If a road's being redone in a certain area of town, we've pretty much got a plan for it. We know what can make it better to connect all of the neighborhoods, to get kids to school easier. Where are we, we're lacking sidewalks in neighborhoods. We need work. I don't know if I can rate it.
Okay. What opportunities do you see for improving the inclusiveness of like public pedestrian areas? You mentioned the sidewalks. We have some that are not meeting appropriate ADA guidelines and things like that. So what opportunities do you see for improving those public pedestrian areas?
We've been, I'm not exactly sure. You care to repeat that for me?
Yeah, absolutely. Many of our town's areas experience inadequate walking spaces.
Right.
About sidewalks that don't
Okay.
cover in accordance with appropriate ADA guidelines, and sidewalks around town that just end abruptly, or things like that.
Yeah.
So what opportunities do you see for improving areas like that?
Well, we definitely we need the community to tell us what they want. We want our community members to feel pride in where they live, in their neighborhoods. We want kids to be able to walk around safely, and there's a lot of work that can be done, and it's probably going to have to start with just communication and sort of targeting some of these key spots that need work.
Okay. I'll just go down just a couple of questions, and you can answer briefly some issues that have come up. Do you support allowing chickens within city limits?
I do. I definitely do.
Okay. Would you support regulations on food trucks?
Yes, I think that is a pretty important thing, especially right now. Not actually being able to go into a restaurant and eat. A food truck is a really nice option to get some good local food. So yeah, I don't know exactly what that would look like, but I would be interested in talking about that.
Okay. Where do you stand on the bicycle ban at Leslie Morris Park?
I think you might know my answer, but I think bicycles should be allowed to be used on areas of the park that are not on the historic acreage. I think it would draw a lot of people here. I think connecting that trail to the Riverview Path and to other very nice biking, walkable areas in downtown would be very important to tourism. And I'm honestly a little surprised that some of the current city commission wouldn't want biking up there.
Okay. Our town has recently encountered problems with consistent recycling. So what solutions do you propose for limiting the waste in our town that needs to be recycled or thrown away so we can avoid future problems?
Right. That's a very big issue in many cities and states. We may have to look at how we are recycling. So we may not be able to do the one bin system anymore. We may have to look at, really, putting glass all together, plastic. I know there's already been some research and some other recycling centers that we might be able to use, one in Louisville. So I think we need to look at our options and also maybe contact other cities our size and see what their recycling looks like. And can we change in a way that we're, more environmentally friendly? Could we work in a composting aspect to this? I mean, there's so much we could do to make our recycling better.
Okay. Some of the candidates have not been responding to the questions sent by the State Journal. If that includes you, why have you not taken this opportunity to make your views and ideas known to a wider audience?
For me, there have been some questions I haven't answered. A lot of those have taken place during the COVID-19 time because I'm currently working from home with 2 kids, 2.5 and under. So really, it's hard to get everything done. I never thought I'd be campaigning during a time like this when my life and all of our lives would be so different and stressful. But, I also think some of the questions are meant to stir things up, and that's good and bad. It can cause some issues as well. But whenever there's a topic that I really want to respond to, I really try to. Also, I'm totally open to talking to anyone about any subject, so people can contact me on my Facebook page, Leesa Unger for Frankfort City Commission, and also my website, which is leesa4frankfort.com. So I'm happy to discuss any topic with anyone.
Well, I'm going to give you a minute to look right in your little camera there and speak directly to our viewers and tell them why they need to vote for you for City Commission.
All right. Like you probably know, my name is Leesa Unger. I think I'm one of the best candidates because I'm compassionate, and I'm also very committed to making positive change in Frankfort. And I'm ready to be the voice for you and your family. And I really hope that that you vote safely this election for this June 23rd primary. Whether that be a mail-in ballot that you should be able to request soon online at votegokentucky.ky.com, or if you schedule an appointment in your precinct, just vote safely. And also vote for Leesa Unger, number 2 on the ballot.
Great. And you want to say again what your how folks can learn more about you?
Yes, my website is Leesa4frankfort.com, and I'm also on Facebook, and that is Leesa Unger for Frankfort City Commission 2020. So check me out. I'd love to talk to you.
Great. Thank you so much for your time today. We're doing it different, so I appreciate you being
great. And my dogs didn't bark once. So.
Hey, I know our viewers appreciate hearing from you. And to our viewers, let me say, voting's different this year. So be sure to go online and go to govoteky.com to request your ballot and get up to date on the voting process. Because this year it's different, so it's time. It's election season, people, so let's get informed and let's go voice your choice anytime between now and June 23rd. And that's all we have for this edition of Meet the Candidates, so we'll see you next time.